All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, the secret to dealing with strong negative emotions. If you're like me, you can get these strong negative emotions. Maybe anger might be a big one for you. I know that's been kind of my big one, strong negative emotion. Sometimes that's covering for things like hurt or sadness. Today we're going to learn some steps, and I'll tell you a story from my own home that help me kind of remember these things. So my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach. I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some guys wins from guys in my program, the Strong Men, Strong Marriages program. Guys are having increased peace of mind. Man, so important. If your mind can settle and be calm, everything else goes better. Your emotions can be calmer, your behavior can be calmer, your intentions can be calmer. Really great. Guys are just finding more joy in their lives, connecting with stuff that they used to enjoy, connecting with friends more, connecting with God more, getting out in nature more, bringing that joy in so they're coming from a full place when they come to their family. Better connection with kids. So guys are enjoying those connections, having conversations, coming from them from a better place instead of that judgmental place. Stuff like grades or homework, being able to come from a loving perspective instead of a get your act together kind of perspective. Guys are having increased self-worth, self-esteem, and self-confidence. So huge. As we connect with God more, we feel those things a lot more. For me, I was able to work through and connect with my son through negative emotions. That's what we're going to talk about today. I also just went back to the Front Row Dads Conference, which was, again, just a great experience being around men that are really supporting each other and love each other. So I would highly recommend that group to anybody interested. Again, it's called Front Row Dads. Here's what happened to me. So a few days ago, I came home and I was just irritated. I didn't know exactly why, but I just came home from work in kind of a bad mood. So I had gone to pick my son up. My wife had asked me to, which was great, and I was happy to do it. I'd also dropped some stuff off from our Thanksgiving thing that we did. And then I had went to the store because I had a few minutes before I was supposed to pick my son up, and then he called and said I was supposed to be there earlier. So he was kind of irritated that I picked him up late. So I think that might have been kind of where it started, that I was like, you should be more grateful kind of thing. So got home, and then, the garbage was full, and this is my same son's job to do, that he often does not do in a timely manner. And so, hey, I was irritated with that, and I was like, you need to get that done right now. You never get this done. So just kind of jumped on him about it. And my son was like, Dad, there's something else going on here. And I was like, what are you talking about? I just get tired of it. You do this so much and you never follow through. And then my wife was kind of like, and I was like, well, Elizabeth, do you think I'm being over the top here? She's like, no, it doesn't seem like you're over the top, but it does seem like there's maybe something more going on. And so I was like, all right, I was getting more frustrated, but I forced myself to sit at dinner, and I was just quiet, and I was just getting more and more angry as dinner went on. So I cleaned up, just feeling even more anger, feeling rage, feeling like, man, nobody appreciates me. Maybe I shouldn't even be married anymore. These kids all need to just get out of the house, and maybe I'd just be better off on my own. Just pretty dark thoughts started popping up, and as this kept going and these thoughts kept coming, what I realized is this really was an attack from Satan. This was a demonic attack coming on me through these negative thoughts. So he brought these thoughts into my mind, and some of them I gave way to, at least for a time. So one of them was like, hey, returning good for evil, this thing you're doing for this year, that's stupid, man. It's not getting you anywhere. You've been trying to do that so much, but nobody's appreciating it. Nobody's doing anything. So I felt resentful. I felt angry because of that. I felt kind of like God had ripped me off with this thing. People don't appreciate what you do in your family. That was a big one. Big lie that Satan was telling me in the moment that I was believing. Okay, you'd be better off with somebody else. Again, a lie put in there by Satan that I was, have off and on throughout my marriage kind of believed. Your son shouldn't be at home anymore, my oldest son. So that's the other thing. When I pulled up, my oldest son's car was there, his girlfriend's car was there, and I was just man, these guys are still here. They shouldn't be here. It was just, Yeah. So another lie, right? Another lie Satan was telling me, your son shouldn't be home anymore. Okay. It's a lie because it's just, anyway, I'll get into why all these are lies. But so what I want you to kind of take away from this is, why can we identify these as thoughts from Satan? So Satan, he's the father of lies. Okay, so anything that's a lie, anything that's dishonest, anything that's against the truth, that is, by definition, coming from Satan as the father of lies. Okay, and usually they don't come as like just pure lies, like, oh, hey Mike, like you are actually, your skin's purple, right? Well, I can look and see it's not. But usually they're half truths, right? Where part of it's true, but part of it isn't. So you can kind of buy into the lie a little bit more. So, for example, like the lie Satan told me, hey, good for evil, stop doing it, not worth it, right? So the truth about that is, look, good, returning good for evil does not always immediately get good back. It doesn't. But, that's not the point, right? That's not the point. The reason that you return good for evil is because your heart has changed to become the kind of person that does that and can overcome evil with good. And look, yeah, sometimes you're planting seeds, and those seeds take some time to create good things. Or maybe you do good and the other person still does evil, right? But it doesn't matter, because the point is you becoming the type of person that continually gives good and gives love, right? That's the point of this. And by doing that, you're connected with God, you're feeling full no matter what. And that's the point, right? That you're not so affected by what everybody else is doing, but feel full and complete in God, right? That's what we're going for. It's not, oh, this is a trick, right? If I do good, eventually other people will do good to me. For the most part, that does turn out, but sometimes it doesn't, and often it takes a long time. But again, not the point. Point is that you're the type of person that continually loves other people. That's when you become the sons of God, when you can be kind to ungrateful and evil and lazy and snipping and angry men and women and wives and children, right? That's when you're becoming the son of God. And that's when you feel actually way more empowered. That's the point. It's not that they should be giving you good back because you've been returning good for evil. Okay, so that's the truth. The lie is, hey, you've done this long enough, now it's time to go back to an eye for an eye. Like, that's the lie. That's what Satan wants you to believe. Okay, so what about my family never appreciates me? Okay, so is it true sometimes my people don't appreciate what I do in the family? Yeah, like they don't tell me every second of the day that they appreciate what I do. Okay, but they actually do tell me often. But again, Satan comes in with that lie. Oh, they're not telling you this second that you're, that they're appreciating you, and so they never appreciate you, right? He tells that lie. But again, that's not the point to serve your family. The reason to serve your family is you're the kind of man that sees what people need around him and goes and blesses the people around him. That's the point, that you become that kind of guy. Kind of like returning good from evil, same thing. Serving other people. Why? Because you're the kind of man that does that. And now that takes God helping you shift into that man, right? That's the point. Okay? So what about you'd be better off with somebody else? Okay, whoa, man, that's like that's one Satan throws around a lot, at least with me, and I know with some of the guys I work with too. Like, man, this is a lot of work. Why don't you just go choose somebody else? So what's the truth? God says, hey, what God's joined together, let not man put asunder. And so, look, you made that commitment. I made that commitment to my wife. This is how it is, for better, for worse, sickness, health, all of that, right? So is that hard sometimes? Yeah. But again, like the point is you're shifting your heart to become the kind of guy that can do that can be with his wife in sickness and health, that can be loving even when maybe she's not quite as loving, right? That can take a break when he needs to, come back and be in that loving place and fill himself up, right? Again, why all of this? Because it's a better way to live. It's a better way to live, to be sustained and sufficient in God versus needing everybody else to do stuff for you to feel good. In other words, being dependent on other people for you to feel good and whole and complete. Okay, that's not a great way to live. The better way to live is to be whole in God and to be giving to other people. Okay, what about this one? Your son shouldn't be home anymore. Okay, that's a lie because he just is. So that's arguing with reality. So, yeah, that's a lie from Satan. Something shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be that way. Well, it is. And so when you argue with what is, that's by definition arguing with reality, and by definition also a lie, because it's not true. It's not what's happening right now. Okay. The truth is, we've set that situation up. We told him, yeah, you can stay here while you're doing community college. Okay, that's the situation. So he actually should be here. From his perspective, he's doing exactly what we asked him to do, which he is. And so, yeah, that's the truth. Okay. So notice that even as I'm saying these things, right, the lie brings up all this anger and frustration or resentment. The truth sets you free, right? Lets me feel fulfilled, at peace, right? Joyful. So, yeah, all those lies, they generate anger, right? Which is things getting in the way of my will, which is often what that is. Often that moves to a desire to hurt or destroy other people, right? Or eliminate them from my life, okay? So, like, you don't appreciate me, fine. Like, see how you like me not doing anything around the house or not supporting financially, or maybe I should just divorce you, right? Then you'll finally appreciate what I did. Okay, the desire to hurt back, an eye for an eye, right? So, what does that result in? I mean, I didn't do any of this stuff, right? I didn't leave the family or divorce my wife over this night. Or luckily this time too, I didn't scream at anybody. I didn't explode, which was a big win for me. I felt all this anger, but I didn't explode, and I'll tell you what helped me do that. But again, what's the result if you go an eye for an eye, right? It's disconnection, it's loss of safety, it's loss of good communication, and it's loss of intimacy. That's what you get. And that's what Satan wants. Satan wants you to not have good connections with people. He wants you to feel dependent on other people. He wants you to feel not full and upset and frustrated, right? He wants you to be miserable, basically. So you can be pretty sure if you're feeling miserable, you're starting to believe some of the lies that Satan's telling you. Okay. Yeah, Satan wants us to feel angry, isolated, and hurt the people we love, right? So that drives disconnection between us. So I was feeling this high anger, right? And somewhere in this, I realized, hey, like this is an attack from Satan. So I started praying for help. Like, hey, God help me. Like, I don't want to feel this way. I don't, like, I'm really feeling this attack hard, right? And what that did for me is it got me through without exploding. Okay, definitely I would have exploded with that level of anger in the past. At somebody would have got it. But this time, nobody got it, which was great, right? So big, strong emotions like this, the good news is they come and they go, right? These attacks from Satan, they come and they go. And when that drives your anger up, it comes and it does go, right? So prayer helps. For me, the other big thing that helps is physical exercise with anger in particular, okay? So eventually late on that night, I did 100 burpees, and took me a while to do that, but I felt way better after I did that. Just kind of getting my heart rate up, getting that norepinephrine, that epinephrine to process through my body, right? Just felt way better. So yeah, I would recommend that as a strategy for you. Yeah, pray, but also take a break, go get that physical release out. Look at what lies Satan is telling you, what's the truth, instead of the lie. So later that night, my son, he also felt really strong negative emotions. Okay, he wasn't really sure why, but they were there. He was sad, he was crying, he was believing other people didn't like him, that he wasn't good enough. That's kind of where he tends to go. I tend to go more, everybody else is the problem. He tends to go more, I'm the problem, and I'm not good enough. So, yeah, like Satan, he kind of tailors his lie to maybe your personality and things like that. But like that's a lie, right? People do love him. He is good enough. Okay, Satan was lying to him, but he felt really bad about that, and I was able to share some of that with him too. But the best news was, like, I had just been through this process myself, just that same night, right? Having these big, strong negative emotions, they seemed out of my control, right? And so what that helped with, I was able to have compassion for my son, feel with him instead of being like, oh, don't think like that, like you shouldn't be so mad, no, that's not true, right? But just having compassion, man, like I get it, I know how that feels to have these such strong emotions you feel like you can't control, you don't know where they're coming from. So I just sat with him, right? I let him know he wasn't alone. I shared with him about prayer and exercise and how that helped me, okay? And his strong emotions, they came and they went, and it was really this great bonding moment for us. So these big, strong emotions, they can be really good, right? They can help us relate with each other. Like, I think, like, look at the story of Job, right? Sometimes God lets Satan kind of give you a hard time, and that lets you rely on him a little more, see through Satan's lies to truth. Like in the story of Job too, right? All these guys said, you did something wrong, but he was able to stand for truth through it. No, like I didn't do something wrong. Yeah, and I imagine after that he was very compassionate on anybody that was sick or things like that. So yeah, it helps you bond with other people, these moments of high, strong emotion. So, summary, big, strong negative emotions, they're often fueled by lies from Satan, especially anger. So pray for help. Identify the lie, call out that it's from Satan. Hey, that's a lie, Satan. Like, I wouldn't be better off with somebody else. This is who I married, right? And I'm committed to that. And no matter what. Like, I'm not gonna get fullness from other people. I need to get that from God. That's the truth, right? So you combat lies with truth. So pray for that truth from God and release of that satanic force. Say, hey God, like I need help. I'm feeling overcome. Please send angels. Please help me overcome this. And then also use physical exercise to release that anger from your body. Get it out. Okay, step away. So the phrase I'm saying right now is exercise the demon, right? Meaning like physical exercise the demon, but also exorcise, like get it out of you. But do that spiritually, mentally, and physically, right? Spiritually, pray to get that demon out. Mentally, combat it with truth, okay? And then physically, let that out, okay? So my personal new rule for my marriage and family after this event was when I feel angry, especially before coming into the house, is just, step away, find the lie, pray, and exercise until I feel better. Okay. So what does that require? It requires spiritual strength. It requires mental strength. It requires emotional strength. It does require physical strength and skills, or at least like building some of those as you exercise. So come learn those and come practice them with us at Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Come visit strongmen.io, sign up for our email list, or apply to join the program. In 2025, we're going to be making some changes to the program, and I'm thinking and praying about how to do that in the best way. So come 2025, and my main goal for all of 2025 is just to stick to one thing and do that the whole year and not come off it. If you followed this for a while, you probably know like we've changed how we do things quite a bit. We've changed pricing the times here and there. So yeah, we're just going to stick to one thing. We're going to do it all year and stick with that through 2025. So starting 2025, we will let you know what that is. But hey, like if you want to just get going right now, head over to strongmen.io and let's help you create that great marriage. Christmas coming up. Best Christmas gift you can give your family is being a strong man in God. So yeah, visit strongmen.io. We'll see you there. Stay strong, men, and we will see you. Stay strong in God, men, and we will see you next episode.